All right, here we are with a new article review for a previous article from DazzleCat. This is the Grand Archives. So let's briefly take a beautiful look at this beautiful photo that you have here. I mean, very nice. Okay, so we start off with the myth, large quote, the truth, the deeper truth, the end. Interesting. So that is some good structure that you have there. Okay, the myth, the man, the myth, the legend. Sorry, no, not really. The myth, the truth, the deeper truth. Okay, so it looks like we have good structure in here. Let's just zoom in and get critiquing. I think 200% looks good. Okay. The Grand Archives have existed for over 5,000 years and is considered to hold the greatest library in all the mortal world. Even to the elves, it is thought to contain all mortal knowledge and presumed to be the marker of civilization. Yeah, so we need to change just that has, change that to have. That popped into your head when you're doing the headers. Yeah, there is no place upon the world where the grand archives stand. Okay, yeah, yeah, again, need to get rid of that S there, change that. Because when you have the noun and you have the verb afterwards, and one of them can be plural, but the other one can't, to balance it out. So the Grand Archives stand, or the archive stands. So yeah, since you have archives as plural, we need to use the singular version of the verb. Instead, it exists at the nether hub of what has come to be called the gateways. These portals exist all over the world and are controlled by conductors, an order of mages within the High Guild of Magic. The High Guild not only resides within the Grand Archives, but it claims to own it. In fact, most lore tells that the High Guild created the Grand Archives as well as the gateways. Okay. All right, now we jump in to the fiction, the prose. Sorry. Master Southill. I'm not sure how, if that's because I see South Ill, or Sowhill with the silent T. I'm not sure. If the portal stones can only be crafted in the Grand Archives, then how could the Grand Archives exist in the Nether between all the portals that it had to make for there to be the Nether? Apprentice Yarrow Silverleaf asked. That is the great quandary that has driven some mages mad trying to figure out, Master Southill said to the very curious young elf. It is best to simply understand that it is magic that involves the bending of time. But time doesn't bang. The sound of Master Southill's staff suddenly appearing before Yarvo and slamming down upon his desk silenced the apprentice. Madness, Yarvo! Desist with these questions and rid yourself of them. It is not the path of study mortal minds can handle. Yarvo stared at Master Southill, still struggling to understand. If you do not forego these questions, I shall be forced to send you home an utter failure at becoming a conductor, Master Southill snapped. Yarvo stopped breathing and his eyes went wide as he froze. The horror! Such shame would bring him and his family washed over him. Why, he might even be executed by his father's own hand to cleanse the family of his shame. All you need to know is that it involves the bending of time, Master Southall repeated, slowly in a sharp, clipped tone. Yes, Master Southill, Yarvo squeaked out. It's bending time. Okay, that is kind of cool. Yeah, I like that. It does kind of um, Master Southill. We don't. It's hard to it's such a short piece of flash fiction that you have here, and I would consider this flash fiction. Is that um, he seems very defensive or something like that. But I do like that he just goes and he lays down the law. Um, but it just seems like he's here, here, here. Let's see. Let me just go. It seems like his attitude is here, 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 bang, and then he goes like that. If you know what I'm saying. So, and that's, I mean, that is good progression. I don't know if it's. I don't know if you have the time to just kind of go like that to smooth it up a little bit to get into that anger one where the kid is being more the apprentice is being more persistent and it pushes forward. I don't know if you want to do that, but at least it's good that we have that tension, the conflict, even in such a short piece of flash fiction, to keep it like that. So that's good. All right. The truth. Okay, so there we have the myth. Nobody understands it, but we have the truth. Okay. Beneath the many floors of palatial rooms, conservatories, and workshops that made up the Grand Archives is a place called the Vaults. The vaults hold, again, we need to uh, get rid of that S there. The vaults hold all manner of books, tomes, scrolls, and tablets that, in their turn, which historical and magical artifacts, first editions, and original texts. In their turn, okay, that okay. So, um, I'm not. I like short sentences, uh, but I'm not a fan. I guess this is going back from my elementary school days. Is a paragraph should have more than one sentence in them for nonfiction work. When we're talking about prose and we're talking about dialogue, that's the exception to the rule. But here, the vaults hold all manner of books, tomes, scrolls, and tablets. Okay, and then I would just put that a period right there. Okay, and then go, these in turn contain, okay, like that. And so we have the first sentence describing what the vault holds. We have a second sentence holding what the things in the vault holds. And that way you can have shorter sentences, more clearly explaining it. And the reason why I use contain here is because you use hold there, and to use the same verb in two sentences in a row could be overly repetitive, and not as well received. So these in turn contain historical and magical artifacts, first editions, and original texts. So I would that's my recommendation for that. This is a place of limited access. Again, it's just a paragraph by itself. Um, is there nothing else that you would want to say about that? Like, sure, there's limited access, but who does have it? Who doesn't have it? How is that access granted? Erase too many words. Yeah, fair enough. But, like I said, for the thought of the stream, we just keep going, and this is the hard work. The polishing is the hard work. Okay, the senior clerk who works in the vaults find it amusing that everyone else considers the vaults a part of the Grand Archives, when in fact it is the Grand Archives that is a part of the vaults. A misconception they do not correct. They consider it the best way of protecting the vaults and all the things it contains. Okay, and see, these two paragraphs that you have here are on the same topic, and they're talking about the attitude of the senior clerks. I would actually bring these two paragraphs together since they're so closely tied together. We have the tip top of paragraphs. We have time, place, topic, or person, I think is the one. So those are the times that you would change a paragraph. These are all in the same time, and it's in this. It's talking about the same place, or it's happening in the same place. So I would actually keep that paragraph together. I do, and it is interesting the misconception they do not correct. Why? That is a fascinating little nugget of information that you've given us here to explain. Hey, these senior clerks, they know everybody has a lie, and they're not going to correct it. But why? Unless you already have that in the deeper truth section that is down below. If it's already there, ignore that. Ignore that section. The deeper truth. Again, beautiful artwork. From the time when ageless dragons wielded godlike powers. Let's get that timer going. From the time when ageless dragons wielded godlike powers until now, where dragons are as mortal as every other living thing, the vaults have existed as the storehouse of the gods. Okay. Ageless dragon. The I don't know. The verb wielded seems a little cumbersome for this sentence, um, but that's your choice to keep that one or not. Mortal. Okay, again, this is a very long sentence. I like the ideas that that it is portraying, but having this in one sentence is a bit long, in my opinion. Few mortals, even the senior clerks within the vaults, know the god of the god vaults section deep within the restricted section. Even fewer have actually seen the god vaults. The closest they get to the god vaults is the Chamber of Gates. Okay. Here it is here that the head clerk of the vaults, called the librarian, crafts the most important artifacts for the High Guild of Magic, the Heartstones. Ah, okay, so picture of the Heartstones. Good. These Heartstones each turn into a gate, and it is within these Heartstones that the conductor of the High Guild Magic make and control the portals. All right. All these portals collectively are called the gateways. All right. The High Guild, backed by the Conductor's control, use the gateways to control and manipulate the realms of the world for their own ends. Within every realm, kingdom, principality, and such high. Sorry. The High Guild. Okay, within every realm, kingdom, principality, kingdom, principality, and. Okay, you missed a comma there. Okay. And such high guild has built a chapter house where all mages within the realm registers and becomes a minnow or a minor member of the high guild. Okay, as a minor member. Okay, minor. As a minor member, these mages are able to maintain their loyalty to their homelands. Within each chapter house stands a portal to the Grand Archives that can be freely used by ant member of the High Guild, minor or higher ranked. Okay. Stands a portal to the heart that you probably need to get rid of the does here. Okay. All right. I think we got this paragraph just needs to be. When you get, I'm not. When you get your head focused so tightly in to editing a specific paragraph or specific words over and over again, you become blind. And that's why it's so good to take time away from a piece of fiction and let your brain forget about it and then come back to it. And there's also the technique of reading it backwards, sentence by sentence, to get your brain out of the flow. Other people, they like to change the font. And by changing the font type, the font size, maybe make it, do something like that, it tricks the brain into thinking this is new and makes it easier to catch things like this. So if you're in a rush and you can't do the time, using the reading it backwards trick and changing the font may help you find more things if you're under a tight deadline. Then there came a terrible day that ended the gateways, a terrible calamity called the end of instant. All the gates, even those within the chapter houses, vanished. Without the gateways, the world has fallen into a race for resources and trade wars. Fewer and fewer mages are finding the time and circumstances to research a means to return to the Grand Archives, as finding a new means of travel about the world is now a race for world power between greater realms. Okay, so this sentence right here, again, covering a lot of information, many different topics. I would probably split that up. Will any of them do it? Will a new and lesser known land do it? Only time will tell. Okay, so this is so generally speaking, I do like the edits that you have made. I do the structure of the article is really good. The myth, the truth, the deeper truth, and the end. I think you've structured it very well. Of course, there were the typos that we were talking about, and that's just something that you'd need to go through to handle that. But I think that would be easy enough to go through. I do like the fiction the flash fiction offset up here. That was a nice thing. Um, I guess then there's the end of the instant, and it'd be interesting to know, maybe not in this article, but in other articles, were there people who are trapped inside the archive? Who knows? Um, but yeah. All right. The end of instant. I do like that phrase. All right. The another article I need fixing. Oh, there's never an end to the number of articles that need fixing. But yeah, good stuff here. Good stuff. All right. Thanks so much for allowing me to review.